Do you have something to say? Then you need to start a podcast today. Now, to do a podcast, what you're going to need is you're going to need a good hosting service. And the one I use and the one I recommend is Buzzsprout. Now, Buzzsprout has a lot of features, but the best part about Buzzsprout is if you really just want to dip your toes in to starting a podcast, it's completely free. However, if you're willing to go all in and go full hog, go to the bottom of my show notes here, use my link, and start an account. So not only, if you start an account using my link, not only will you have access to all of Buzzsprout's features and everything like that, you will also receive a $20 Amazon gift card as a special thank you for joining. After your, second month, you'll get it. Now, like I said, it has a lot of things. Especially if you start an account using my link, you get indefinite hosting. So every episode that you put up it's just there forever. They will keep it up for you. Multiple platform support. So that means that Buzzsprout lets you link to pretty much every podcasting platform, be it iTunes, Pandora, TuneIn, and just a whole plethora of other ones. You obviously have to do the work yourself and submit, but, I mean, again, it's easy. It's just a click of a button and a little bit of downtime. Let's see, what else do they have? They have a lot of choices for monetization, be it affiliate programs, such as this one you're listening to right now, actually. And also many different, and links to different sponsors and different sponsor services that you can join to, try and get monetized that way. And the big thing that they have is they also now offer the Magic Mastering service, which is, what that does is it automatically fixes the levels in your audio, so it'll kind of tune out like background buzzing noise, and if you have more than one person on your podcast, it'll try to even out the volume between the two different people, especially if one's louder than the other. It'll automatically do that. And then all you really have to do is choose your subscription level based on how much content you think you're going to be putting out every month. You can go be safe like I am and go high, or, you can go low, and if you go over the amount of time, it's just a little bit extra. Nothing big. Now, unless you're a complete coding wizard, making the content is, in a way, it's both the hard part and it's the easy part, because obviously you got to have something good to say, no, you don't really. But unless you're a coding genius, actually uploading a podcast somewhere is a massive pain in the ass, and really it's, not even so much that, it's just how do I do it, right? Whenever I first started this podcast, I tried submitting to iTunes. And you go to the submission page, it's literally just a blank page and a field that says, what's your RSS feed? I don't know what the fucking RSS feed is. Buzzsprout, however, takes all that uncertainty away. Like I said, you just go to all the different platforms you want once you have your stuff uploaded and submitted, and just hit submit. And you just have to copy and paste it gives you an RSS feed. It makes it for you automatically, so you have that. You can copy and paste that whenever you need to submit anywhere. And yeah, Buzzsprout makes everything easy. Buzzsprout I would say it's your number one resource for podcasting. So if you want to start your own podcast, go down to the show, go to the bottom of the show notes here, use my link, get your podcast up, get your Amazon gift card, and get your heart out there. Now, enjoy this show. Alright, welcome once again to the paint booth. As always, thank you for tuning in. This is the show where I basically just show off my hobby skills for my love of Warhammer and, other similar things. For this week's episode, I got a little more commission work that I'm doing. This time we are working on the big bad honcho himself, Trajann Valoris. This guy is the Lord General of the Adeptus Custodes. So, he's the big man in charge. Now, as you can see, so with this model, normally he normally actually comes with a bareheaded, but in this case, my client decided that he liked the regular helmets a little bit better, so he went ahead and put that on there, which is fine with me because it's just one less thing that I have to deal with. So, of course, you guys have already been seeing the previous work that I've done with this commission, so you already know what's coming up next. Same formula as everything else. The main differences with this guy is that he's got these feathers on his shoulder shield, and then of course this big bad lion pelt on his right shoulder. So, yeah, like I said, same formula. Gold armor, Seraphim sepia. Let's do it. Alright, so that is the gold wash done, or wash over gold done, which surprisingly there is actually not that much surface area on this guy, because a lot of it's taken up with the big cloaks and the weapons and feathers, and there's also some other leather bits going on there and all that stuff. And this camera, there we go. Yeah, so you can already see the details starting to pop out in the armor. So, like always, we're going to let that dry, and we will come back to this in a bit. Alright, so we got the armor to be the gold color that we want. Now there's obviously a few different, there's a lot of different things to work on this guy actually, but next we are going to go ahead and do the base, just because of mainly just because of the fact that I would rather risk the colors of the cloak getting on the rocks than the other way around. So, the easiest way to do that is, of course, to start with the stuff that you don't care as much about first. And as always, let me get a little bit more. We'll start with our chocolate brown for the dirt, and then later on well, not that much later actually. There's not a lot of a surface area on this one. In fact, I'm not even going to bother going into the time lapse for this. Not yet, anyway. So we'll get some brown on there nice and thick. Since it's the first paint, I don't really have to worry too much about painting over anything, since this is actually the color that's going to get painted over. And see a little bit there. Nice big chunk of dirt on the back of the model. Also, I should note, it's not really that important, but these, the bases that these guys are on for this commission that I've been doing are not, well, they're third-party bases of some kind. I'm not sure where they're actually from, but I like them. Because getting a good basing is always kind of a pain in the ass. Oh, here. Shake that up a little bit better. And here we go. A little bit of that English brown. Just like always, we're doing the rim first. Oh, shit. I accidentally went through the wet waste part, but it's a little bit of a thinner section here, which is fine. It's just less area to paint. Alright. So that's the rim in, and then let's go ahead and get just that little touch of, where did you go? Dry brushing on the dirt. So a little bit right there. I might have gone a little bit too light, but that's fine. Here we go. Show up better on a bigger section anyway. Alright, see, that was easy. Just a little bit of dirt on this model. Okay, you guys know the drill. Now, let's get these rocks done. How about that? Alright, so we got the groundwork literally done on Trajann. And now I'm going to move on to the reds. So going to be this gigantic cape of his, and of course the helmet plumes. And then sometime after this, I am going to eventually revisit the some of the leather parts, mainly just his gloves, really. But I have to do the cape first in order to do that, just because, especially over here, the hand's on top. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So that is our reds more or less done on Trajann. So as you can see, we got the red on his cape and his plumes, and I also went ahead and did the edging work, or the dry brush work, with our orange red to get this nice red and orangish color all over. Alright, so now we're going to get into some of the more nitty-gritty elements, or smaller elements, I should say. So first I'm going to go ahead and tackle Trajann's gloves. So you can see he's got the one here holding the axe up, and then the other one right here holding the cape aside. The second one, which is actually going to be even simpler to do, because as you can kind of see, he's got this big, here, maybe that'll help. Yeah, he's got a gold vambrace on his left bracer there, which I don't have to do any more painting with. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just run through this really quick. Just like the other guys, we have our base color, chocolate brown, followed by a light brushing of flat red to get that red leathery look. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, like I said, easy peasy, nice and quick. Just because it's just it's a small surface area. However, now we're going to get into something a little bit more complicated. We are now going to begin to tackle this big bad lion pelt that he's got on his right shoulder there. So for this one's actually going to be a few different steps, and a few different steps, because it's going to involve a little bit of shade work. So and that takes time to dry. So what I'm going to do now to start out with is this whole area I'm going to go ahead and go over with our English uniform, which is more or less our light brown. And then I'm going to hit the whole area with our Agrax Earthshade, which is basically just a brown colored shade. So let's go ahead and see what that's going to look like. Alright, so I guess that was actually a little bit easier than I may have touted it out to be. Once it gets into focus, there you go. Yeah, so as you can see, got a nice started out the color in the cloak. It's very similar. His English uniform is very similar in shade to the gold armor, which is why I added in the earth shade to. As you can see, we got all the nice recesses, the dark recesses in the fur. And then, well, for now, we're going to go ahead and let it dry. You already know the drill. And I'll eventually, once this is dry, I'm going to dry brush a few other colors over that, and that's what we'll get into next. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish off the lion's mane, the lion's fur, I should say. And in order to do that, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush again with our English uniform, just to bring some lightness back, kind of in the overall color of the lion. And then I'm going to hit the edges with Drake's Tooth from Army Painter, and that's going to give us some more whitish edges, and that will pretty much settle the fur on the lion. I will still have to do a little bit of treatment on the nose, and then of course the eyes and the claws here, which actually for the nose I'm gonna put a little bit of dry brush, a little bit cold gray over the snout, and I'm also going to be using this color as the base for the feathers on his mark, his shield mark here. So obviously I'm going to be starting the feathers next. It's going to be the base color of cold gray, and then I'm going to hit it with the Nuln oil wash, and then I'll do some lighter stuff over it whenever that dries. So first, let's go ahead and finish up this lion mane. Short little cut there. So yeah, that's pretty much the work that we're going to do on the fur. And as you can see, the lighter color of the Drake's Tooth helps us get the whatchamacallit, some more details from the lion's face as we want. And now let's go ahead and get started with our cold gray. So once again, this is going both over the nose of the lion, just very lightly. And then, oh, actually, I'll put it over here. And then it's also going to be used as the base color for the feathers on his Castellan's mark. I believe that's what it's called, but either way, that's what's going to happen. So let's do this bit on the nose real quick. And it's not going to be too much, just a hint of gray. So, yeah, that'll do the trick there. And now, get these things out of the way. All right. And now let's go ahead and color in those feathers. Alright, so that is all we can do at the moment. As you can see, we got some, I mean, it is kind of hard to see, but we got some base color and shading in the feathers. And the wash, and we're just going to go ahead and let that dry for a second. Alright, so Trajann here, our big boy, is just about finished. So real quick, well, the main thing that's really left is this axe here to do. And there's a couple other, smallish details. But first thing we're going to do is go ahead and finish off the feathers. To do that, I just need a little bit of our old pal Stonewall Gray. And here we go. And we're going to go ahead and just dry brush the edges. Get some of that nice light gray. Mostly just on the top edges of the feathers here. That's the back side, now the front side. Same thing. It's a little difficult to get to just because this axe is in the way, but that is just the kind of things that you have to deal with as a hobbyist. Okay. So I think you can kind of see there, yeah, those feathers. You can see them right here. They got just a little hint of white-ish in there, and that's what we want. So now, really the only thing that's left is the axe. And in order to... So for that, the first thing we're going to do, it follows the same formula as the rest of this, whatchamacallit, commission. So, I'll go ahead and start with our black primer. And I'm going to just go over the entire axe with this thing. And then also, I'll go back in and fill in the eyes on the lion's mane, or lion's head, and the claws down here at the bottom of the cape. Alright. Got a little bit of black paint, and let's go ahead and get started. that is our black primer on there. That takes a second to dry, so we are going to go ahead and let that do its thing. We'll come back in a second. Alright, our black paint's dry, and more or less all there. So, we're going to go ahead and finish up the body of the axe, and as we've been doing before, we'll start off with silver, and then we'll go ahead and hit it with a Nuln Oil again as well. So, to start off, we'll of course get some silver paint, and this is going to go flat on somewhere, on the like the gun body, and then this eagle motif, and then on the rest of the shaft it's just going to be dry brushed. So let's go ahead and get that started. So, got the silver color down, and like I said, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with the Nuln Oil in a second here, just so I can get the real, like the full contrast in the axe head. But before I do that, I do want to give this silver just a little bit of time to dry, while I also explain again. So we also have to do the actual edge of the axe here, and there are in fact a couple of gems on this guy's armor as well. So for the gems and to start the axe head, we of course got to go back to our heavy blue, which is going to be like a heavy dry brush on the black here, and that's just in order to get our base blackish blue color. And then on the edge of the axe, we're going to go back in with the deep sky blue, which is our lighter blue, and that's going to give us the darker glow effect. So I'm actually going to do the shade last, just because that'll be the easiest. So let's get some blue. Let me wet my brush first, and then so we got 3 gems. There's 2 little ones on either side of his hip here, on these hip plates, and then he's got 1 big brooch right there. So easy peasy. So I did the 1 right here on his shoulder, and then 2 on the sides here. So now let's go ahead and get started on the axe head. Don't need this anymore. We want a nice, heavy dry brushing of this stuff, so we get blue color all over the axe, because it is supposed to look energized. Some right there, and there. Get a little bit more on this side. There.
And then real quick, switch over to our sky blue. Just want just a little tiny bit. I think that'll do it. Hopefully it's not too... Oh yeah, that's way too wet. That's just the life of doing hobbies. Sometimes you gotta do things more than once. Alright, one more time. There we go. We got some actual pigment. So, just a bit of this, and then we're just gonna... Still pretty wet. There we go. Just over the outer and the inner edge. Still too wet. There we go. Shit. Okay, well, let me... Here, you know what? Let me pause. Right, unfortunately, things go wrong every once in a while. I screwed up putting one of the colors on, so I had to go ahead and recover this side of the axe. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and do some of this again. So with our dark blue, get some color back into this side of the axe head. And then let's see if we can make this sky blue work. Try shake it up a little bit more. Alright, I think I got some actual paint this time. Let's find out together. Okay. Oh yeah. Much better. It's not too wet. And we got that nice bright glowing edge on the axe there. And again on the other side. There we go. That is one sexy glowing axe head. Something. He's probably got a good ass too. I mean, they're, you know, superhuman warriors. No flab to speak of. And speaking of flab, or lack of, let's go ahead and get our final touches in on this guy. And that is going to be putting some black shade over the gun and the axe motif. So going over the body and getting some details out on this little eagle body thing that they have going on here. And then the other side. Just about. It's always both happy and sad when you're about to finish a model, because it's like, finally, you know? But then also at the same time, especially once you're in the groove, you just want to do more. But, you know, you do what you can. In this case, I did finish Trajann. So, here you have it, the illustrious. Ooh. You know what? There's actually a couple more things that we can do before I close out this video real quick. So let me get my silver back out again. So I almost failed to notice that on the belt here, he's got a his little key, and then there's this device here, which is the moment shackles. That's what it's called. Which is a special relic with some nifty in-game rules. But to hit these, we're going to go ahead and do the silver again. So silver key, and then on this thing here. Maybe. You know, I actually remember from building my own Trajann that this part that I'm painting right now was a separate piece, and that was a real pain in the ass to get on there. But, alright, so once again, that's the silver paint in. Let's give a little bit of the Nuln Oil shade on both this key and the shackles. Alright. So now, this time, for real, Trajann is finally finished. The illustrious and beefy master of the Adeptus Custodes. Once it gets into focus, there we go. Yeah, give you a nice look at him. There's the lion. As you can see, we did do the put some black in the eyes and in the claws in the back here. I need to get like a special turntable with its own camera or something like that, but yep, there you have it. Trajann is done, and so is another episode of the Paint Booth. Thanks again for watching. If you like this, I got plenty of videos before this that you can check out, and there's going to be more in the future as well. Or if you just want to hear more of me, go ahead and check out my other channel here on YouTube, the Jankety Ass Podcast, for video, or you can go to wherever else you get podcasts, you know, iTunes, Pandora, I think Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, a bunch. And then, of course, also go ahead and check out my Instagram page at jankety.ass.podcast. And, you know, give us a like, give us a subscribe, send me a DM, tell me what you think. And thanks again.